Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Etul for Real, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this Fashion Nova inspired two-piece set from home. This is a very inexpensive project, so I had this fabric laying around in my garage and I decided to make a set out of it. I got some old clothes that I had, an old skirt and an old top to use as a pattern because obviously that's going to be my size. This top that I have is a stretchy material, so I made sure that I pinned it down and cut out at least an inch around to make sure that I would be able to fit it. So after cutting out that first piece with the top, I made sure I took that piece that I cut out and used it as a pattern for the second piece. So for this top, you need two pieces to come together to make your top. And also a bit of advice, if you had a lot of fabric like me, make sure that you're cutting the pieces close together so you save a lot of fabric to use later on. After cutting out your pieces, here comes the fun part, which is actually sewing them together. My fabric didn't have right or wrong sides, so I wasn't really worried about putting the right sides together, but if your fabric has right and wrong sides, you want to make sure that you put the two right sides together and then pin it so that you will be able to sew it more securely. After that, make sure that you are taking your pins out as you go, or make sure that the pins are facing outwards so that you'd be able to sew on top of them without breaking your needle. Make sure that you are also backstitching from beginning to end. There's nothing worse than putting on a top and then you just bust out of it. So please make sure you backstitch whenever you're starting and finishing your sewing. Okay, so I just finished the top, like sewing the top. I'm gonna see if I can go to my friend's house so I can serge all the way around. I don't really feel like hemming it, it's gonna take forever. So I'm gonna see if I can go to her house and serge it. If not, then you guys will probably see me hemming it. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the bottom. It shouldn't be long either. And then hopefully I'll finish probably today or whenever I can get it serged. I decided to go with a different skirt. The first skirt that I had was a little bit longer, but I wanted to have a shorter skirt for this two-piece set, so I got a different skirt from my closet, and this one is a bit big for me, so that's why you see me cutting it a little closer, unlike the top where I cut it a little further out so that I'd have more room to get in. But same with the top, make sure you cut it out the first time around the skirt and then take that piece and cut out a second piece so you have two pieces. Once you have your two pieces, this process is very similar to the top. Make sure you put your right sides together, and then where you see those pins, you're going to sew all the way down. And like I said before, make sure you're back stitching when you start and when you finish. This part is the most tedious and time-consuming part in my opinion. I hate it, but you must do it in order for your pieces to look a little bit better. Basically what I'm doing is folding down at least half an inch because the elastic band that I have is a little bit thinner, but you can get a thicker elastic band if you want and sew down a little bit more. I'm just sewing it down all around, but I'm gonna leave a little gap in between so that I'll be able to feed the elastic through. And I'm gonna be repeating this for the bottom of my top as well. You don't have to do it, but I do it so that it looks a little bit cleaner. This is an easy way that my apparel teacher in high school taught me how to feed the elastic through, is putting a safety pin at the end and then just like feeding it through the hole that you made, or like the little space that you made, until you get to the other side. And once you get to the other side and you have it as tight as you would like it to be, then you just cut the little piece off, the extra piece, and then you sew the two sides of the elastic bands together. When you're sewing the two sides of the elastic bands together, you want to make sure you backstitch a lot, like at least 4 or 5 times back and forth, to make sure that the elastic band doesn't accidentally pop when you put the skirt on or the top on. After you sew the bands together, then you're going to want to close up that gap that you made to feed the elastic in, and your skirt is basically done. The last part is just hemming it, or you can serge it. I went to my friend's house, like I said before, because she has a serger. She actually does this, like sewing clothes. So she serged the ends for me and the armhole of the top to make it look a little more clean and put together. If you don't have a serger or access to a serger, then you are gonna have to just like fold it down and hem it that way. But I'm thankful that she did this for me, because I did not want to hem it. But that's basically it. This was a super easy project, and I'm going to show you guys the finished result right now.
I'm in the ocean. I hope I don't drown. And she got a potion. She like it down. Yeah. She all up in the ocean. And I know that